so I figured I would drop by and give you that, and then talk about that prepay that we have going on.
Thank you. I needed a new hat.
No problem. So before we get started, how have you been doing?
Good.
So you've been taking any rides?
Yeah, I went down to Venice Beach, Florida.
Okay.
Got a new spot to go to now.
Oh, that's awesome. How was the weather down there?
Pretty nice, nice and sunny. There was a little bit of storms, but it wasn't bad.
Okay, well, glad you guys had some good weather. You got a good tan going on.
Oh yeah.
So basically today we're here just to work on that prepaid so we can get that done and over with, and then we're going to end on talking about some seed too, since we do have it done and ready and treated for you. So I brought my computer just to show you more of the breakdown of all of your fields from last year, but I did print off a few things I thought that was really important and we needed to touch on. So like we did those two fields, one non-ask, one ask for corn and soybean. So here is that extract that we pulled on 6/25/2019. That was one of our first pulls, I believe. Yes, that was one of our first pulls. So you actually did not have anything planted in the soil yet. So you can kind of see where that stands. So this is with the beans. I'll start out with that first. You can see the root hair and the root mass is incredibly different. You can see we are at B7, so stage 7, vegetative. So right then you can see that you are allowing a lot more nutrient to go into that stalk because of your root masses. Here's another comparison. So this is your ask, and this is just your standard fertilizer, some dry fertilizer that we put on. So it did not have any of that additives that we did with the ask. So with that standard, you can see where that line is right there. I mean, you're almost doubling in leaves and in those bean stalks. So with that being said, those are some two good comparisons I really wanted to point out to you and show you just to refresh your memory with that. So we're going to talk about the data a little bit. Obviously, you can see that the N is not where we would like it to be. Obviously, it's over the target, but we would still like it to be over the non-ask. But you did have incredible standards with that K. So I'm really proud with that. And then that P obviously shows good data as well. But our magnesium, we're really worried about it, and then your Na. So I'm going to really work on before we start that spring, we're really going to pull those extractions and make sure that those extractions are done and before we do any ratios for your ask. Do you have any questions with this data?
How would you make these better?
So we're going to combine that boron and you're going to combine your magnesium. So we might lower that K ratio and add more magnesium. That way your magnesium is in that soil and it gets higher. I mean, obviously you're above that target, but we would like to see it a little bit higher just to show some good yield for next year for that corn crop. Because this is obviously beans, so you're going to go to corn, correct? Perfect. All right, let me see if there's any others that I would like to point out to you. That's your corn. So you can see right here that your boron's pretty much level and it's below target. So we're really going to focus on that. So obviously your N, P, and K are really above target. We don't really need to focus on that, and I can ask our agronomist. He's going to really focus on making sure we get the perfect ratio for every single field. They're going to be different ratios for every different field. So your boron is going to be needing to go a little bit higher, and we obviously have that additive, so we'll throw that one in there. And then you can see that, we'll go back to this one. So obviously, like you said, your magnesium and your Na is what you're concerned about, so we will make sure that is done. Let me write that down for you so I can talk to the agronomist about it. My clicker's on. Okay. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go on to your corn. Pretty much good all the way around. I was very pleased how it turned out, especially after that flood that we had. So here's that data, but I'm gonna go over these comparison photos with you first. So we'll go with this one. Obviously this is gonna be, this was almost ready to harvest. So this is your ask and then your just normal fertilizer that you put down. You can show that this was one of your weakest corn, and then this was the best corn cob that we were able to catch in that field, and then comparison. Your weakest one is is bigger than your strongest one on your non-fertilized or non-ask. So I think that goes to show that we did greatly improve on that field with ask. Also, this is just another comparison of showing the actual corn. So this was one of your weakest, and this is one of your biggest, and then your weakest and your biggest. Those two biggest ones, the bigger ones, are pretty much even, like I would show, but obviously your bigger one or your weaker one is clearly double that size. So, and then the last one is just showing your stalk, how much bigger they are. Clearly, one little stalk is going to be as big as all three together. So that is V7 as well. So just like that bean that we were talking about, that is that stage that we hit on. So it's 20 or 200 out of 200. So that's great to look at. So with that being said, kind of looking at next year or this coming up here for prepaid, I know you love to ask. I know that there's probably some questions that you have, but some things that I would like to throw out that I've talked to my district manager is we're definitely going to throw out that $1 app that you guys can use for every single field. That gives you the opportunity to have a little bit lower apps than you did with those fertilizer, because we did keep that fertilizer app the same, but we dropped the Ask app since you guys were using that as a trial. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I just like to make sure Tyler does all my fields. He does a good job.
Yes, he does an amazing job, and I know that you guys have had history in the past, so I think it's a really good opportunity for Tyler to keep staying on those fields. I have talked to our new crop advisor, and he has been aware that I think we need to keep Tyler on your fields. And then I've also talked to the other operators if for some reason I'm out of the office or he forgets, that they know that if it's a Greg Hawken field that we need to make sure that Tyler is on those fields and no one else is supposed to be doing any applications. So we should pretty much be good to go with that. Any other questions or concerns you may have?
Not really that I know of.
Okay, so are we wanting to do the application on all fields or some of the fields?
I'll go with all of them.
Okay, perfect. Let me get this filled out for you, and then we will get you signed. This allows your prepaid, so you obviously get that 5% discount on top of that $1 app, so you're getting a pretty good deal. So this is going to be spring 2020, and we're going to do Ask on All. I'm going to have our agronomist work with our intern, and if you want to sign there, just make sure that all the extractions pulled from extracting and the tissues are being done. That way we can get those done before we get you started, before you start planting, so then we can get those ratios out to you. I'm definitely going to give you those ratios before you get started and let you know what the ratios are, because they are going to be different for every single one. And that way, if for some reason you want to go a little bit higher on magnesium or boron, that you definitely can change that, and we can get that adjusted before we get that application all together. So I think we're pretty much good to go. My only question was, we did get your seed treated, so it is ready to go. Is there any specific date that you would like to get that delivered?
Probably within the next month or so.
Okay, perfect. I will shoot you probably a text within the next couple of weeks and just let you know. We'll just keep it the same. We'll probably have Tyler drop it off because he knows where to put it in the shed, and that way we are good to go. Alrighty, thank you so much.
Thank you.